All right. So creating that tension, shrug your shoulders up by your ears, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take a deep inhalation, and when you're ready to let go, really let go. And a few more of those. And if you want to add in a little more hand and arm tension as you squeeze up and really let go. Good. Last one. Maybe you can hold this one longer or let go even more in some way or another, whatever feels great. Shake all the way out through your shoulders, arms, and your hands. Good. Bring your hands together, rub them around a little bit. Maybe you can massage or help some fingers to lengthen out a little bit more if that's needed. And then when you feel you can, comfortably line up the palms, all the fingers together, pointing more or less kind of straight upwards. And then just see how lifting the elbows out to the sides more feels for you. It could be your wrist, it could be your shoulders that have something to say about that. So you can always make an adjustment. And then if you feel good with that, let's do a little side to side. Stretch out long through those fingers as you point right and left, north and south, whatever direction you might be positioned in. Good. And then point those fingers again straight on up towards the ceiling. Bring them in close to your heart center. And let's say a few silent mantras. You might have your own favorite, but I might suggest aloha in all of its beautiful meaning. It's unconditional love, hello, goodbye. It really encompasses a lot of things. So it matches pretty nicely with your breath too. If you want to imagine inhaling alo and exhaling ha. Taking in all the information from your senses, the sights, the feels, the sounds, the tastes, the smells, whatever that could be. And if you can't taste or smell or get in touch with some of those senses, then imagine something. Activate your brain in those memory banks and let that elicit some kind of a nervous system response, that memory of something that tasted really good. I had something that had a lily koi in it this morning that was fabulous. Oh, and a very lovely fresh papaya. Those are some suggestions that I could offer you. And of course, that internal body awareness as you shake your arms on out alongside you and feel your breath coming through. And keep all that awareness going all the way down through your legs and into your feet. When we'll start to move from your toes to your heels, up and down, away from the floor as much as you can. Good. If that's feeling pretty good, let's try alternating. Good. And then let's really focus on just one foot at a time. So pick that little guy up there and point and flex a little bit more. Maybe even circle around if that helps you kind of free up that joint, loosen things up. If it doesn't feel right to you, just stick with pointing and flexing. And then let's really focus on toes. Get those toes to activate in some way or another, making fists and then stretching back out or moving individual toes as best you can. And then let's do something kind of similar on your other side, other foot, giving it a little bit of a lift, moving, pointing, flexing. Most important action we really want to make sure we maintain, maybe some circling if that helps. That's it, good. And then really focus on those toes a bit more. And then when you feel ready, you can plant the feet on down, sit up nice and tall, maybe even press your hands down into your thighs as you lean forward a bit so you can really feel that connection down through the soles of your feet. And then sitting upright, nice and tall. Full and complete breaths. Let's just turn your head slowly, looking over one shoulder, mindfully blinking as you turn to look over the other shoulder. Assess how your eyes are feeling at the moment. Are they comfortably moist? If yes, then let's try to stretch out those eye muscles in between your blinking to look over your shoulder and up as much as you can to your side. It's pretty delightful that I can look over each of my shoulders and see the ocean out in the distance. And I'm so glad I get to share that with you guys. A little more with the eyes, unless they're not feeling activated and moistened adequately, then you're just going to focus on squeezing those eyelids tightly shut and then blinking them open until they do get that good moistness that the eyes need for good health. And I'm turning the last time around over each shoulder. And then back to a forward facing position, pointing the nose straight ahead. Hands on the hips of your, or the crests of your hips here as you do a little pelvic tilting, any degree that you can, back and forth. Try inhaling as you tilt forward. Try to let your belly expand. Exhale as you tilt back. A few more times. Beautiful. And then when you feel ready, coming into neutral pelvis, long length of spine as we had before, really reaching up through the crown of your head. Now let's try to rotate a little bit more through your spine. So gently revolving, your hands can be low, drifting over your body, or if you can, and it's comfortable for you to reach out wide apart. This is a lovely expression or symbol of aloha here, really expanded, wide open, receiving, giving love and gratitude and feeling open, open, open. A couple more times around, any way it works for you. Beautiful. And then square off back to center. Inhale deeply and exhale all the way down. Down onto the lower body here. Let's actually first really tune into deep core, and let's strengthen and tone there, and maybe a few rocking motions back and forth to really feel that coming on all the way through and deep within. Good. And then one leg at a time, let's try to lift it a little bit away from the floor and then place it back down, slow and controlled, rocking back, lifting the other leg. Now you might need to use your hand to support that leg and guide it a little bit, or you could add in arm curls along with the lifted leg. Try to maintain your long length of spine and torso. A couple more of these, any style that works for you. Good. And then when you feel balanced out and ready, you can place both feet back on down to the floor, sit upright nice and tall, really feel that full, complete breath coming through for you. Let's do a right arm reach, find extension, any degree, at any angle. What would feel really, really good, reaching high or not so high, any degree of support that you might need, reaching all the way through. Wherever your right hand is right now, let's move through each and every one of those fingers. Good. And then we are going to make some sounds here as we lower this arm down, and it is going to be the whole aloha as we lower this arm down slowly. So start with a nice inhalation. Aloha. All the way down, and maybe shake out a little bit there. Feel yourself settling back into a balanced position, and then let's explore your left side. Finding extension out of the shoulder, through the arm to whatever degree feels good. Explore, support yourself as needed, and finding your breath here. If you're finding this comfortable for now, wherever your left hand is, then let's move through each and every one of those fingers, pointing, flexing, moving, or maybe doing those dexterity exercises that we like to do so much. Good. And we're going to get ready for another deep inhalation and lowering down for another aloha. Here we go. Aloha. Really accentuating all those sounds with your face and your voice. Shake out both arms here. Excellent job. Feel that sense of strength and tone coming back through into your deep core, and either alternate heel lifts or marching steps. Marching steps, getting things a little bit more activated throughout your body as is doable. So stomping your feet down harder is one way that could work. Lifting your knees up higher is another way. Going faster could be a way. Getting your arms to truck along with those marching legs. Slowing it down, a slow motion movement all the way through. Whatever works well for you. We're going to keep an eye out for that threshold where you might start to feel a little bit of fatigue, certainly some warmth throughout your body, a good sense that your nervous system is fully activating on as we attempt to coordinate upper body and lower body and wake up the senses all the way through to our feet. keep going, either slower, faster, more subtle, or more big and complex. Whatever you can do for just a few more breaths here. That's it. Okay, I'm getting close to my threshold, I think, so I'm going to go ahead and take a pause. You keep going longer if you need to or want to, or you can always stop sooner. You well know by now, yes? Okay, few little chair dips if you can. So the hands on the sides of your chair, somewhere where you get a good press down through. And also activate your deep core as you give any degree of press. And it's fine if your hips don't even leave the seat, but do feel that sense of strength. And don't forget to kind of lift and squeeze all the way through the pelvis into the low back and the abdominals here. And this could also help you scoot yourself a little further forward on the seat of your chair, if that works well for you. Good. And now you've got a little bit more room to work with, and it's freeing up a little bit more of your legs so we can start to move out of your hip. Right leg only for now, going out and back to parallel to any degree that feels good. Or if you're ready, you want to pick up that leg, give it some support, and out and in to any degree. Let's really explore what feels good, zigzagging, coming up a little higher and then a little bit lower, or circling. And taking those nice, full, complete breaths any way it feels good for you here. Awesome. Okay, when you feel complete on that, let's bring that leg forward, maybe give it a hug up and in, and then lower back down, sitting upright, nice and tall, full breaths. Start to explore moving out with your left hip here. Remember, we don't want to feel any pain or strain in your knee joint or your ankle joint. I'm trying to really purely focus on mobilizing the hip here. So you can either keep the foot down onto something, giving it that kind of support, or lift it up with your left hand, give it that support, and move out and in as is comfortable. Yeah. A little more, either zigzagging or circling or whatever feels really good to you. Don't forget to breathe. That's it. All right, when you feel pretty well connected to this hip and the range of motion that it's able to do on this side, let's bring it on forward, maybe even hugging it up and in. And then place that foot on back down, sitting upright, nice and tall. Let's do a few more rocking motions, feeling strong and toned in your deep core. And adding in those arm extensions and arm curls if that feels good. If you're leaning back very far, really check in with your back, even, while you're in that position or coming forward out of it. If you're getting any hint of pain or strain there, then make it more subtle. And if you want a little bit more of a challenge, everything's feeling quite good, hopefully at least some good muscle activation. Then if you want to hold that chair pose or boat pose, kind of leaning back, but not relying on the back of your chair, if you could help it, so it's all strong through here. Maybe you're feeling your inner thighs are engaged a little bit too, helping to lift up through the pelvic floor. Few more breaths here. And then as you come upright, sitting upright nice and tall, what would feel good? Just rolling your shoulders, or would it feel good to reach up through both arms any way, any direction that feels good? Move through all 10 fingers up there, wherever they may be. Good. And then as we lower this arm on down, let's go right into the E sound. So prepare your mouth and your lips so we can draw that out as long as we can. Here we go. E, all the way through for you as long as you can. Then return to your breath and swallow intentionally. Try 2 or even 3 times in a row. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit more arm reach or extension. So we'll start with a short lever and nice and close. And you might just reach down and bring it back in, kind of sharp and powerful movements there. If it feels good, more out to the side, directly out there. Or if it feels good, maybe try reaching up at an angle, up and in and up and in. Then when you're ready, let's switch over and explore the other arm. Starting with a short lever, kind of bringing it in close. Feel how stable things feel when you're there. And then a little uh, extension more down at an angle, kind of make that a more of a kind of an explosive movement if you can, or out at the horizon. That's it. Or maybe up at an angle, whatever degree that feels good. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, and then when you're ready, bringing that arm in. All right, now we're going to do something kind of similar with the leg. We're going to tap a heel straight out in front of you to start with your right leg. Forward tap in and out. Then let's tap it out at an angle just a little bit more. Still on your right foot, tap out and in and out and in. And we're going to try to see how far we can tap way out to the right now. So if you need to switch yourself on your chair seat to accommodate a little bit more of an outward tap out and in a few times, see how that feels, and do feel free to support your leg if you need to do that. One more time. And then bringing it back to center. Take a nice full breath and let's tap straight forward out on the left. And remember, if your heel doesn't like that impact on it, then especially as we go a little bit more out to the side, if it's more comfortable for you to be more tapping on the sole of your foot, that's perfectly fine. And then let's see how far we might be able to tap way out to the left over there. Good. Okay, and then coming back to center. Now we're going to try to do opposite arm and leg. So let's tap out 3 times on the right and reach out to whatever angle that worked well for you when we explored the arms before. So out and in and out and in. One more time, out and in. Take a pause at the center and let's do the opposite side. Left leg, right arm. Again, it could be at the low level, out at the shoulder level, or up, whatever feels good. One more time, and bringing it on in. Now let's alternate going back and forth. So we got a left arm, right leg, and switching over at center, going out and in and out and in, out and in and out and in. Couple more, out, in, out and in. Bring it all back in. Sit up nice and tall, full, complete breaths. Excellent. All right, next we're going to try doing both sides at the same time, both arm and leg. So out and in and out and in, out and in and out and in. Let's switch it over. Do the same on the left. Out and in, out and in, out and in. Last out and in. Good. Take out, maybe move through those shoulders a little bit. Let's do a few rocking motions in between because we're going to get a little bit more complex and challenging if you want to as we go along in this series here. So really important that you have your deep core strength on. Uh-huh. And then sitting upright nice and tall, really feel that sense of strength and stability. You can take a few deep full breaths here, but then do feel that deep core strength really coming back on because now we're going to go out and in, switching sides. So right, then left, then right, then left, right and left and right and left. Good. Take a pause here. Excellent. Now let's do opposite sides. Right arm, left arm, right leg, out, crossing over, out, out, out. Good. Out and in. One more time. Beautiful. All right. Take it in nice and centered and feeling very well aligned. Good. All right. So we've gone through a lot of different stages here. All of these exercises are really useful, especially these ones where we switch over to the side, crossing the midline each time. That's got a little bit more added benefit for the nervous system function and all. But I want you to do whatever you can. And possibly, just possibly, with a lot of deep core strength without pain in the back or anywhere else, maybe we could try to do both legs and both arms at the same time. So it's like a seated jumping jack. Out and in and out and in, out and in and out and in. Take a pause, kind of check in with things. How did that feel? Then, if you want to, we can do another round of that or any of the other parts of the series that you might want to do. But if you could do the out and in both sides, maybe we could go a little faster, like double time, out and in and out and in, out and in and out and in. I'm going to take a pause in between because this is super hard. You could also try doing it very, very slowly. So out and in and out and in. And if it's hard to get everything coordinated at the same time, that's totally understandable. You could take it in that slow pace again, but you could kind of maybe like get your legs going out, then get the arms going in, then get things going. So they don't have to be moving all at the same time, but you're still kind of attempting to get this big wide open stance here and then bring it back in. So either all of it at the same time, really, really challenging, or you can kind of gather it in and gather it out as you can. So we're going to do this for about 30 seconds straight without stopping if you can to add the challenge here, which you guys are so up to in whatever way you want. So here we go. In, out, and in, out, and in, and out, and in and out, and in. Or maybe you're doing your slow, that's fine. Yes. Now you can do any form, any of these that we've done, anything you like, but let's keep at it. Big, big, big as you can. Even if it's one side at a time, do what you can. A little longer. Keep going. Yep, you should be feeling warmed up by now. Not pain anywhere though. You can always keep your shoulder lever, do things like this. But whenever you got, let's really do it as big as you can for just a few more times. Out and in. Beautiful job, everyone. Take it all back in. Sit upright nice and tall. Take a few full, complete breaths. And this might be a really good time to grab a drink, hydrate yourself. Moved my mat all over the place with all that vigorous movement. Excellent. Yes. All righty. Taking some slower movements. Now let's go through a rounds of robin's breath. Hands together. Help them line up as best you can. Fingers pointing up and in towards the heart center here. Inhale for a nice deep lengthened spine and breath. And then as you exhale, reach forward and tuck your chin down. Inhale, open the arms out wide. Look up, smile. Exhale, reach forward, tuck your chin. Inhale, bring your hands back into your heart space and exhale here. Let's add in a little bit more face stuff with this next round. So again, make sure your lips are comfortably moist because we're going to start here with a smile. And then as you exhale and reach forward, you're going to do kissy lips or fishy lips like that. Here we go. Inhale, exhale, fish lips. Inhale, open your mouth wide, look up, lift your eyebrows. Exhale, reach forward, kissy lips. And inhale, bring it back into your heart center, smile. Let's do it again. Inhale, exhale, good fish lips here. Inhale, open wide, mouth wide, lift your eyebrows. Exhale, forward. And inhale a lovely little smile here as you come back into your heart space. And again, you might take a few full breaths in your mantra of choice or aloha a few times. And then let those arms shake on out there beside you. Excellent job. Let's do a forward fold. You guys have earned it. We've worked hard so far. And like I had mentioned before, I think we could do a little bit of standing stuff here in a moment if that works for you. But pick your style of forward fold. Supported with your hands or your arms like this, or grabbing your bolster if you have one. Put it over your legs. Lean into that bolster in a way that's really comfortable for you, where you can relax and take some nice full breaths. Or if it works for you, to really lean forward, drape your torso over your thighs in some way, and let your back start to at least get some stretch. But hopefully, as we hold a little bit longer, we can get a little bit more release and relaxation of some of those chronically tight places that we all seem to have. Remember those breaths? Maybe your mantra coming along with it. Stay with it longer, as long as your body is letting you know it's feeling good and positive for you. Some people need to go and listen to their bodies and ease out sooner. If that is the case for you, make sure you engage throughout your deep core. And if you can stay in this for just a little bit longer, please do. And as you do feel ready to come out of your fold, and you can always stay longer if you want, but when you're ready, engage, engage all through that deep core. Feel your navel pulling back towards your spine. Feel engagement through your pelvis, pelvic floor as you ease on up slowly when you're ready and into your full upright seated position, where again, what would feel good after that? Maybe a few gentle shoulder rolls, forward, up, back, and down, or it might feel really good to reach up and out in any way that feels good here. Yes. And since we have warmed up with our E sound in whatever position that you're holding your arms and your body in this point, let's do a nice big yippee. So here we go. One, two, three. Yippee. And lower your arms down slowly and try to get your shoulders to move as much in that back and down position as you comfortably can. Sit tall. Let's take a few deep belly breaths here. Excellent. Now we've got our hips nicely warmed up. Let's get into a stretch to really make use of that action that we've required of them so far here today. So a figure four pose to whatever degree works for you. It may be down at a lower angle, something like this, or some of you really benefit from getting a prop that you can put that outer edge of your foot on and see about finding that open angle that works well for you. And others might do just fine in a pain-free range of motion, bringing your right foot up to rest on your left thigh, changing the angle any degree. Could be quite a dramatic change, something from here or all the way out to there. Do make sure you're not feeling any pain or strain in your knee or ankle or hip for that matter, but hopefully some stretch. Now, it depends on your body and the angle on where you might be feeling the stretch. Could be inner thigh, could be more this outer thigh glute area, even up into your low back sacral area, or it could be this IT band along the outer thigh. Just hold and breathe a few more times. If you won't have the knee out comfortably to the side and you want a little bit more stretch for that hip area and into your low back, a slight bit of a forward fold could be a good thing. And a few more breaths to enjoy this pose, just how it feels great for you. And then when you feel ready, sitting upright, nice and tall, taking a few moments to explore until you're ready to bring that right foot back on down to the floor. Sitting up and noticing how different you might feel from your right to left side. And then let's start to explore what would be best for you on the left side. So again, easing into it, giving support with your hands, finding a lower angle. Maybe it's supported again with another prop down there. You can rest the outer foot on, or if it's comfortable, to bring it all the way up and explore different angles or positions for you on this side. I'm feeling very different on this side than I was on the other side. I've done a lot of walking and some bike riding too, which I haven't, of course, done since last summer. Um, and we had access to some great little beach cruiser bikes here, and I definitely put a few miles on in that, so that feeling a little extra tightness maybe here. And exploring again, if you feel like you want a little bit more of a stretch, especially coming into the back area, lower back area, and the outer thigh hip, maybe a little bit of a forward fold, only if it feels good though. And eventually making your way on up and sitting tall, exploring a little bit more at different angles. What would feel really good as you complete your hip opening stretch on this side. Maybe you want to hold yours a little longer. Maybe you're ready to come out of it already. Whenever you are. Place that left foot back on down and sit upright, nice and tall. All right, so just did some very asymmetrical stuff. Now we want to get something pretty symmetrical and get the two sides of our body working together as best we can. So if you have a yoga block, this would be a great time to get it and place it in between the legs or the knees, wherever it's comfortable, and you can start to give that gentle squeeze in and then a release to some degree. If the block falls out, you'll have to gather it up back again, but if you can keep it there and just kind of relatively relax, just feel what activates when you really squeeze in with both legs equally into that block. Excellent. All right, now let's come in and hold some degree of squeeze and start to rock gently back and forth. Notice how it might feel different as you add in the squeeze into your block. Maybe you feel a little bit more activated through your deep core. Maybe you feel a little bit more stable and or comfortable for your low back. Excellent. You can always add in arm curls or add in that extra challenge of holding that backward lean boat pose. Give that block a good squeeze. Or you could keep it active and moving. And then whenever you're ready, you can take a nice bit of a resting break, a pause, if you will, and maybe even take your block out for a few moments. And let's just hold the block there and let your knees drift from right to left to any degree that they can. That feels good. Excellent. And then plant your feet. Lower body can stay pretty stationary as you place the block right around your chest level, as comfortable as it is for you to lift your elbows out to the sides to whatever angle you can. And let's slowly rotate right through your central channel, not leaning off to one side or the other at all, but staying long and lengthened. A few more times, looking over your shoulder as far as you can on each side. Excellent job, everyone. Last one. And then squaring off back to your centered position. Inhale and exhale, placing the block back in a position that works well for you. Next, we already did some chair dips before, but maybe we can do a few more here if that's not painful for you in the wrists or whatever, and add in that real good squeeze to your block to feel even more strength from deep, deep within, even if you're just getting a millimeter of lift away from your chair seat. Use that strength and body awareness, because that can help you get into the most ideal position on your chair for when you are ready to come to standing and come out of it. So a little further forward or whatever works for you. And then if you need to take a pause after that and give your wrists a little bit of attention, a little extra pressure down into them. It's good to have some in them, but if you've ever had wrist injuries, arthritis issues, those kind of things, we'll want to keep it pretty minimal. A few starfish push-ups too. And then we're ready to use those arms and hands for any way they may be needed if you're going to be working up this progression with me here. And that would be making sure the deep core is very well activated, looking down at your feet, making sure that they are a good placement and pretty symmetrical and not too narrow. So hips width or wider. And then if you feel ready, maybe with the help of that little chair dip, coming out of your chair, and if it's steady and strong and feeling good, hold that squat for just a few breaths. Feel the strength, give the block a squeeze, feel through your deep core, and return down to the seat of the chair whenever you feel like it's a good time to do so. So you might be holding yours for a longer period of time or a shorter period of time, depending on what you need, but let's try to keep the movement, whatever it is, slow and controlled. Yes. We can do a few more of these, or if you don't want to fatigue yourself out too much, you want to get into some stand-up sit-downs, this is a good time to explore that possibility. And again, if the block falls out, or if it feels like you're getting your knees to move out of a good alignment or comfort for you, then take that block on out. Just do your stand-up sit-downs or whatever part in this whole series, the many different exercises that I call the mindful transition series, that takes you from a seated position to a standing position, from a standing position to a safe, comfortable seated position. So you do it right where you want to be, anywhere on this transition series, until you feel either ready to take a seat and take a bit of a rest, Or, if possible, maybe you could come to standing and stay standing. If you're feeling strong and steady, stand tall, or just come back down and sit tall. Another great option. So, full complete breaths in whatever position you're choosing. Arms could be out to the side to help you with balance, and a little bit of a wider stance perhaps as you choose to do a little side to side movement here. Little bend into one knee and then into the other one. A little more challenge if you want to reach towards the direction that you are bending that knee and leaning towards a little bit. Maybe you could even go up a little bit higher at that angle. Couple more times. Awesome. And then back to a centered position. Now, if you choose to stay standing with me and do these few more exercises, let's make sure you've got your sturdy support prop in a good place for you. So I am going to engage my deep core strongly and bring my chair to a position. You don't have to move your chair. You can just go and stand behind yours if there's room there. I just want to make sure you can see me as I am demonstrating some things that I'd like you to possibly try. And remember, all of this can be done staying seated in your chair. You do not have to come to the standing position, or you can return down there anytime. So you've got a sturdy support prop, at least one hand on that, maybe both hands. Again, if you're using your walker, you have it in nice and close. The handlebars are pretty much right next to your hips there. You got the brakes on. Yes, good. And you can do either alternate heel lifts, lifting your heel, also putting a little bit of weight down through the ball of your foot from your big toe to your pinky toe to really get that mobility through those joints. Good. A little bit more strengthening challenge and balance is to lift both heels away from the floor and slowly return back down. If you have one arm free and you want to reach up as you lift your heels and lower as you bring those heels down, or for a lot more of a challenge, you could try lifting your heels and getting any degree of lift of your arms too. Just know that your heels can go back down and you can place your hand back onto your balance support prop whenever needed. So play around with that just a little bit longer. Looking good. Excellent. And then for this next one, I want to begin to really activate the lower legs in a different way, a very opposite way. And for this, ideally, you've got your sturdy support prop with your hands in front of it, or you've got your walker in there real close. Because what I'd like you to try to do now, you can just do one at a time, but you're going to bend your knees just a little bit and kind of sit back. Just a mini little squat. And then I want you to try to lift your toes and weight down into your heel. And then you can do the other side. That in itself could be a really good stretch, also really activating the foot, the ankle, and the shins in a very, very useful way. And you could even try to getting both toes, both feet, I should say, and all your toes to lift away just a bit and really weight back into those heels. Even if the feet aren't coming very far away from the floor, I want you to really feel like you're weighting back into those heels. And then come back upright, standing tall, mountain pose, but try to feel that good grounding connection into your heels still. Spread your toes out a little bit more if possible. Sit tall or stand tall. Take a few full breaths. And then let's go into a lunge, runner's lunge style type thing. So one foot's going to step forward a little closer to your support prop. Bend into that knee, feeling strong. Bring the other foot back to some degree and lengthen through that back leg as best you can, even as you might bend into your front knee just a little bit more. So you're using your support prop here, leaning into it, really checking out your foundation, your legs, your feet, and seeing how steady or balanced you feel or not in that. Try to press back through that back leg heel as best you can. Feel that extra bit of stretch there. And then try to lift up your heart center and your torso into a more perpendicular position with the floor if possible. Taking a few more full breaths. And then only if you feel really good and steady with one arm, if you want to, you could reach that up into the sky. If it's the same arm as your leg that's extended back behind you, you might get a little bit more of this extension through the hip flexor, the front body, all the way through. Take another full breath. And as we lower the arm down, or just as you settle into this pose, we're going to do one more aloha. Here we go. Aloha. Coming into a good steady position where you can stand and come into mountain pose once again. Full, complete breaths. Notice how different you might feel from your right to left sides at the moment. I know I do. Good. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So again, I'd like you to be positioned with that sturdy support prop in the best way for you. Opposite foot is going to come forward a little bit, bending into that knee. Other foot is going to come back to some degree. It doesn't have to be this far, but the more space you have in between here, the more you're going to definitely feel that stretch, but the less stable it will be. So you kind of have to gauge for yourself. What do you need here? And getting as much extension through the back leg as you can, even as you bend a little more strongly into this front leg knee, the lunging leg. Check out your foundation again, your feet, positioning, your legs. How are things feeling? How steady do you feel? If you're not feeling very steady, keep those hands on your support prop no matter what. Maybe engage your deep core a little bit more. If you're still not feeling very steady, bring your feet closer together. If you're feeling okay though, then lift your heart center a bit more. Feel wide open and extended through your front body just a bit more. And only if you feel very comfortable and sturdy on this side, maybe that arm can reach up into the space above you. Taking a few more breaths. Now, another word, Hawaiian word that we hear a lot that we haven't reviewed in our class, but it's got some really great sounds to accentuate as you do, and that's the mahalo, which means thank you, mahalo. And let's say that as we lower this arm or just come to a good standing upright position here. Inhale, mahalo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Standing tall or sitting tall, mountain pose, working well for you. Excellent. How about a little bit of a balance challenge here next? Not like what we just did wasn't a balance challenge, but let's just try to really focus on standing on one leg and lifting your other foot up off the floor just a little bit. You can always touch it back down. If we challenge ourselves here, you could lift your hands a little bit off of that support prop if that's okay for you. Otherwise, you just keep it right there and let your body do little self corrections. Try not to stand like a stick, wedged in the sand here. We're gonna have to move and adjust a little bit here. And we do want to practice that. If it's feeling pretty solid and you're not feeling too challenged on this, maybe you could open the knee out to the side, maybe a little bit more like a tree pose kind of thing. Or maybe you can lift that foot up behind you a little bit more. All of that is going to make it more challenging because you're changing your center of balance in any way that you do change the position of your leg. Good. Few more full, complete breaths. And then whenever you feel complete on that side, gotten your sense of challenge, let's do something on the other side. So other standing leg. And take your time. Now I'm on a fairly uneven surface. The grassy lawn has some little lumps and bumps to it. So it's another challenge for balance here. You know what your surface is like by now underneath you, and you're using that to your advantage, but also choosing to challenge yourself here without being unsafe about it. Yeah, concentrating in touch with your strong deep core, full breaths. It's one thing that tends to really drop off the radar when we're doing complex things like this is our breath tends to get really, really shallow, or maybe we're even holding it. Let's get that breath flowing. Any degree of challenge here that feels good. And then whenever you feel complete and challenged enough on that side for you, stand tall, rooting equally down through both legs, both feet as you can. Very good. A couple more things here standing if this feels right for you. And that could be just widening out your feet just to get a little bit like we did before and doing a little bit more of this side to side shifting rocking motion. Might be really nice to have both your hands on your sturdy support prop as you do that. I'll face you though so you can see what I'm suggesting. There's another option here, a little bit like the jacks that we did seated before, and that would be to start with your feet right underneath you, mountain pose, and then step out and then step back in. You could do like 3 or 4 on just one side, and then you could switch over to the other side. Or another added challenge could be crossing the midline, where You would step out on one side, back to center, and then step out on the other side. Okay. So yes, notice I have kept my at least one hand on a sturdy support prop thus far. This would be a great time to, kind of be standing behind your sturdy support chair or have your walker there. You may have to step back a little bit away from your walker, but just try to stay as upright as you can. Good. And then if you want to add in that big arm movement that reaches out in the same direction that you're stepping towards or just leaning towards. Good. Full and complete breaths a few more times, any style that works well for you. Good. And then let's come to a mountain pose standing position. But if you want to make this a wide stance mountain pose, you certainly can. And then reaching the arms to any degree, you could keep them in close. You can keep one hand on it. Maybe just one arm is going to reach out, whatever feels good. And we're going to do one more mahalo as we lower our arms down here. Here we go. Mahalo. All the way down and through and standing tall until you feel steady, and make your decision if you're going to return to your chair for the remainder of our class today or if you want to start to transition to the floor. See how that feels for you. And of course, whatever it's going to be, it is going to be a fantastically mindful transition for you. So take your time. Looking great. Beautiful. Awesome. All right. So, of course, if you are transitioning to the floor and you like hands and knees position that works well for you, feel free to spend some time in that. Otherwise, we will be making our way into a more reclined position. So that could be leaning back as much as you can into your chair, extending your body on one side at a time as best you can. Try to get your head some support. Or you could be doing both sides at the same time, whatever feels wonderful. That's it. Breathing your full, complete breaths. And of course, if it's comfortable and you're laying on your back, really fully reclined, try doing both sides at the same time, both arms, both legs. Good. All right, when you are complete with that, let's get ready to bend both knees, plant your feet to the floor, and set up a foundation for a spinal twist, a wonderful spinal twist, where if you're seated in a chair, you want to be sitting upright as tall as you can, and you'll be rotating your upper body around and supporting yourself with your hands on your leg, on your chair, whatever works well. If you're on the floor, then with knees bent, feet planted, open your arms out wide apart in opposite directions, and then move both your legs over to one side. Either way, try to find a position where you can really relax and let go here. Few more full, complete breaths. And this could be an excellent restorative pose for some of you too, so feel free to stay in it longer. And then whenever you feel ready, bringing the knees back to center or revolving your upper body to square off towards center if you're sitting in the chair. Take a few moments to make any adjustments back at your center, and then let's take it to the other side. Knees pointing on over the other way, or you're revolving in your upper body the opposite direction. Stay long in your spine, stay well supported, maybe even grabbing additional props that would help you feel even more comfortable in your spinal twist here today. You'll know when you are feeling complete, ready to come out of the spinal twist on this side, whenever that is. And again, always feel free to stay longer. Fantastic opportunity for a restorative pose, and then finding your way and unwinding out as you feel ready. And then coming back to your centered position, sitting tall or lengthening out, making any little readjustments in your body here. And after doing that asymmetrical pose of spinal twist on each side, might be really good to do something that feels very symmetrical, activating both sides of the body equally. It could be in a stretch type thing, like a forward fold or hugging both your knees into your chest. That can sometimes feel great after the spinal twist. Or it might be something a little bit more active, like if you're reclining on the floor and you can press both feet into the floor and lift your hips a little bit, that strengthening bridge pose. You're getting into deep core. Some people feel like their sacrum and their pelvis can rebalance and reset itself very optimally by doing that. But if there's something else that would feel really good, doesn't have to be those choices. Let your body decide what it would really like to do now. What movements, what stretches. Trust your well cultivated positive body mind connection, and stay connected with your breath, and let your body move, stretch, or just be in any position that feels fantastic for you, say for about the next 2 minutes. And where's your breath in this moment? Bring that breath into whatever you may be doing. And of course, if you need a little extra something to keep your mind focused here in the present moment, what mantra would you like to attach to your breath? Maybe another full minute of mindful movement or meditation in motion of some sort. And then sometime over this next minute or so, you might be feeling ready to arrange yourself in the most ideal, comfortable position for our relaxation practice today. So, either changing your orientation in your body or gathering up some more props that might feel really, really good to you to have support. Maybe a pillow for your head, relaxing the neck more, or bolster behind the knees, or anything that would feel really good to you. Take all the time you need in this process, setting up for this ultimate relaxation, which again is a process. And starting by Really mindfully setting it up and arranging your body in the best way. And as we enjoy this last class that I'm here on Maui, at least this time, I do plan to be back, but this one I want us to really take in and absorb as completely as possible. So I'm going to hold a silent space for the most part and let you take in the sounds all around me here, the birds, the waves, the breeze. Let yourself soak it in completely as if you were here, right here with me in this spot. I wish you were. And as you connect with your breath again and again, let it be a very soothing, relaxed, sustainable flow of breath. And feel free to repeat your mantra silently along with your breath. And take in all the awarenesses of your senses. And then one by one, let all those things go. Close down your eyes. Stop searching outside of your body for anything. Feel content in knowing that everything you need is within you right now in this moment. You're safe. You are well supported. You are loved. In this time, just to receive and renew and heal. Enjoy being here for a few more moments. And beginning that sweet, slow, gentle process of reconnecting back into your body, your breath, feeling that gentle rise and fall, moving through your fingers, your feet, and your toes to some degree. That feels good. Turning your head slowly from right to left, activating the neck just a little bit, gentle range of motion. Blinking open your eyes when you feel ready, taking in the visual field around you, taking in the sights, the sounds, the feels, your internal body awareness. Feel all that really coming back on board as fully as possible, reminding you what an amazing place the present moment is when you choose to really be in it. And you might be feeling ready to activate within what's needed to slowly make your way up and into a seated position that works well for you. Maybe choosing to stay in your more reclined, relaxed position longer, which of course you always have the option. And taking all the time you need, come in here out of the breeze just a little bit more for you. Let you take in more of this view. And in the spirit of aloha, joining your hands or connecting with your heart center in some way that feels just right for you. And remembering that mahalo Hawaiian word, which means thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful to each and every one of you. Thanks so much for being here today. Namaste. And one more time with feeling aloha. Here we go. Aloha. Yippee! Yahoo! Great job today, everyone.